think what's been really interesting is even for us, hopefully by the time this episode comes out, we would have already launched our app for Chew on This.
Yes.
So we have our merch.
Love it.
But we wanted to also create an experience that also cultivates our community too, right? So not just coming in and shopping for dope swag, but like being able to watch the podcast, listen to it, some of our articles that we put out in our newsletter, the resources that we provide, brand owners. And it's not just like, all right, here's a link to a PDF and it just opens up, right? It's more of like an experience. And lucky enough for us, we're at that phase in the business where we do have the resources. We do have a dev team that can kind of go in and utilize those tools. So when the app drops, definitely go and download it because it's something that I think will just be a tool for every marketer.
Welcome back to season 2 of Chew on This. Today, fresh off the West Coast, we have the honor of bringing on the co-founder and CEO of Tapcart, a revolutionary mobile commerce platform that allows Shopify brands to create apps without using code. And today, having Eric Netsch here is a complete honor, knowing how busy he is, but making time for the e-commerce ecosystem and sharing what we feel is going to be one of the better episodes. Eric, thank you so much for making time and coming on Chew on This.
Thank you. It's awesome to be here. I'm a longtime listener, first-time caller, so it is an honor to be in the studio. And we've been working with you guys for a little bit now, and really what Tapcart is all about is really creating a retention and conversion strategy for brands just like Obvi and our other 2,000 customers. So I'm excited to share more of that strategy today with you and the rest of the e-commerce community. So let's get into it.
Give us a little bit of that rundown of those 2,000 customers. What are some of the customers in the ecosystem you have?
So there's a pretty broad mix. We focus a lot of our energy on enterprise customers. So a lot of brands making over $1 million a year on our platform. And we're working with brands like True Classic Tees. They're an amazing contributor to the e-commerce community as well. We have Chubby's as a longtime customer of ours. We work with larger retailers like Pier 1 Imports and Radio Shack and a couple others. And then a broad mix of long tail customers as well. So merchants that are just starting their brand and really looking to have a high retention play with their first time customers. And we're always looking for new customers and seeing new things every day. So the customer base is constantly evolving.
That's incredible. We have a lot to unpack, so let's jump in.
First question I got for you, okay? And we talk about our app a lot, right? We talk about the value it brings for our community. We're very community driven,
Okay.
Nonstop. We get a lot of messages, DMs, LinkedIn, whatever it is. And the question always comes up, and I want you to address it. And I want you to shut everybody up. And the question being, all right, yeah, I have an app. Like, do I need another sales channel? Do I need to give my customers another place to buy from me? And I keep telling people, like, that's not all it is. So I kind of want you to unpack that a little bit, and to the haters, you gotta get an app.
Hey, we like the haters. It drives us, and we love answering this question as well. So, I mean, look, let's go back to the fundamentals here. We view web and mobile as the two primary sources that customers are going to see your front end and engage with your products, your experience, your community. It is, web and mobile is the lifeblood and the food and water of e-commerce, right? That's where all of your traffic is coming in. So, what we're seeing on the customer side, the shopper side, is that there's continuing to be an increase of demand for mobile web and for mobile experiences. So really being able to cater to that audience is huge. And you should also be catering to your best customers and trying to continue to increase the LTV and their loyalty. And we can actually see that in the numbers. So when you, Obvi, or another merchant of ours actually gets their 20 to 30% best customers to actually adopt a mobile app, we're actually seeing that they use the app more often. So the sessions per user skyrocket. You have the brand real estate directly on their iPhone or Android device, so they're going to have even higher brand affinity and a higher usage of your product. We see the conversions increase as well. We're seeing the retention and the CLV and the AOV also increase. So like if you combine all of those factors of you're getting your best customers who are on their mobile device and they're using your app and they have an even higher brand affinity for your brand. They're using the app more, and their AOV is higher, and their conversion's higher. Like that is what actually creates a massive incrementality lift, and it's just a no-brainer. If you're a brand doing over $1 million a year in total revenue, you're just leaving tons of money on the table by not taking your best audience and putting them in a place that's reliable and that you can count is going to grow their CLV.
It's huge.
The question that comes up, right, as you mentioned, is incrementality, right?
Sure.
When we, I guess, first started our app, we were around the 4 million range. And so we were constantly building the community. We wanted to get people onto an owned platform, right? This is our app. We're not relying on Facebook. If Facebook goes away tomorrow, like our community's gone, right? So that to us was just a selling point. It was never about like, how do I, like, it's another sales channel, whatever it was. It was always value driven, right? Blogs, recipes, video content, and we'll talk about push notification later. But for the people that do, I guess we did it on like a gut feeling, right? Like this is for our community. But for those that are very data driven, right? How are you running some of these incrementality tests?
Yep. So there's a couple of easy ways to do this. We do strongly believe in incrementality. Like, look, it's the only reason that we really recommend the mobile app as a strategy is because we see the data. We can actually look at the best customers from a merchant before they had a mobile app and the best customers that have now adopted that mobile app and are even better customers. So like that data is really well synced with Shopify. So we're not we don't have a laboratory full of scientists coming up with algorithms on how to attribute indirect revenue. This is all tied directly into Shopify. We are a sales channel. So this report that you can generate is within Shopify. All of the customers' actions and orders you can attribute and see in there. And again, back to an earlier point, like we see that when a great customer of yours adopts the mobile app, they're using the app more often. So you're going to be able to get that data and see their sessions per user increase. You're going to be able to see the conversion is higher, and you're going to be able to actually track that those customers are actually ordering 2 to 5 times more often now that they have the app. So yes, they were a good customer beforehand, but now that they've actually gone and adopted the mobile app, you can track their entire buyer journey, their entire experience directly in Shopify and see that they're placing more orders, they're using the experience more. So, there's a lot of first-party data and, zero-party data that you're going to get from having a mobile app, and we try to pipe as much of that into Shopify. So the story is clear, and it's not a one-sided Tapcart story. It's a go look in your Shopify database and follow the customer journey of Sally, who was a good customer before and now has the app installed, Tapcart's mobile app, Obvi's mobile app, and is now placing concurrently more and more orders.
So I think what would be really good to understand is, you obviously have the reasons of why people should be using Tapcart and building an app for their brand. But then you have certain questions or certain desires of brand founders wanting to know, like, hey, well, I don't think I need it because of this, or this reason, or these common misconceptions why there is typically a deterrence of wanting to create a Tapcart app. Maybe you can give us the top 3 deterrences that are actually not real problems or reasons you shouldn't build an app.
Yep, that's a great question. So we talk about this a lot with merchants, and this does come up. So I'd say number 1 is opening a new sales channel is not free in terms of the labor and the cost involved and the bandwidth. So you are getting a brand new sales channel. It's going to add a ton of value to your store. You have not only your website now, you have a mobile app that you can get your best customers on. It does require bandwidth. So that's like point number 1. However, it is extremely easy to work with Tapcart. We can get you up and running in literally 48 hours if you work with the right people on our team. And bandwidth is typically not an issue, but it is a misconception that we do run into. Point number 2 is...
Can I add one point to
that? Yeah, please. Yeah.
To your point, when we actually created our app, we had 5 people on our team,
4 or 5 people.
including us 3 founders. I put the app together in 10 days.
Yeah.
So bandwidth, I don't think is an issue. And you guys have an amazing team that if we needed, design help or whatever it was, you guys were there.
Yeah. Yep.
So it made everything so seamless to get the app launched.
Yeah. it can take 5 minutes a month for an e-commerce manager, for an associate, for a designer to manage. It's extremely low bandwidth intensive. So we do hear that, and it is a concern now that budgets are tightening. Staff is sometimes smaller or harder to come by for brands. So that is a concern that some merchants have. A lot of merchants think that they can double down on their mobile website or even other mobile offerings like SMS or mobile optimized email. That's also a misconception. Look, if we look at the data, just trying to optimize your mobile website or focus on other strategies like SMS, you're still going to see a high cart abandonment rate. And those abandoned cart rates can be up to 85%. And those are not just from randos that find their way onto the site. Those are from your best customers, and that's completely unacceptable. We believe that and we see in the data actually, by shifting your best customers to the mobile app, we can significantly reduce the abandoned cart rate. And that's another thing that just is proven in the data. We can walk customers through that exercise, and they can see cart abandonment rate is really hard to combat on ineffective channels like mobile web. So that's another common misconception of the channel.
I'll add one thing there.
Yeah, please.
We focus a lot on CRO, right? We have a conversion rate optimization agency who literally the sole focus is to improve conversion rate across the board. We've been working with them for 2-3 years now. Love them. They're great. But the conversion rate on the app is still better no matter what we do to the website. So
it's like our gold standard.
Yeah. So there's a lot to be said about that. We've invested in a lot in CRO, and the app just inherently is still going to be better.
Yeah.
That's awesome. And look, we see this from a lot of our customers as well, and it makes total sense. You guys have good content in the app that drives more time in the application for shopping experiences. We're all about building the freshest and fastest experiences as well. So like having Apple Pay at your fingertips on the PDP, and really just being able to combat that cart abandonment rate is huge to the experience and to the numbers and the business impact. So good point.
And I think also what's really cool is the industry is kind of also tipping their cap towards this kind of being the new experience. That you look at Shop and what Shopify is doing with their Shop app, or you look at TikTok Shop creating a Shop app, and Facebook Shop always had one. Like, there is a reason they're navigating people to wanting to shop quicker and a better experience and faster and just cleaner. And you guys have been working on that and have had that rolled out for many years. So I think for sometimes when we're talking to potential brands or merchants and just giving our experience, the question is always like, why not? Why wouldn't you have this, right? And I know we've hit on that theme a little bit, but I think one other piece that would be, I think, really cool to kind of talk about is there's been this stigma with app and the word development, right? I think brands and founders, I still till this day, when Ash is like, yeah, we got to get this developed, right, for even our website, I'll be like, oh shit, that's gonna cost money, right? Like, that's the first thing I think time and money, right? And I think the other kind of big stopping point for people is that whole idea of like, development and app and creation. And it may not even be bandwidth. It just may be like skill set. Like, hey, I don't think we can do this. Can you touch a little bit more about like you onboard with Tapcart, right? And like that done for you service, like you obviously created that with the merchant in mind that probably has no experience with that. And was that always kind of your goal and objective to kind of take that piece away and make it no code? And I think people have to kind of, they don't understand that until they maybe demo Tapcart, right? And it's like, damn, there's so many people that are just stuck in thinking that, oh, I don't want to code anything.
Yep. I mean, it comes back to the bandwidth problem as well, and the cost problem. And yes, Tapcart has always had the ethos and the mission that we want marketers to own the solution, and that is a huge benefit to teams that may not have technical staff or they may have a costly agency. This has been something that we want a designer, a marketer, an e-commerce manager to be able to run the end-to-end process with no coding, no technical staff. So like before I started Tapcart, I used to be doing agency services for brands. And so I understand the perspective from merchants that, oh crap, every little change has to be developed through the platform. Marketers' vision is sometimes watered down with like what is actually possible and like what can I actually get built for the amount of time and effort that takes place. And yes, Tapcart is fully drag and drop. You can go in there, you can be creative, you can express the best parts of your brand, you can create dozens of different templates, you can auto-publish them. This is all something that a marketer can actually get their hands on and get up and running in a matter of days and manage very effectively. We also have an adventure of developer tools where if you want to get more advanced, if you want to start really working with your in-house technical staff, if you want to have your agency build something really custom for the mobile app, you can do that as well. So like we have almost like a choose your own adventure at this point, and it's all in an effort to empower marketers to be creative and experiment with what they want to do in the app. So
I want to dig a little bit deeper into like, again, the construct of how Tapcart is actually being able to do this, right? We talked about, people having the stigma of, I just don't want that development work piece. But then there's also like this behemoth thing where it's like, damn, I'm going to have an app, right? Like, and you're talking about a few days in, I'll have my company, my brand will have an app, right? There's clear like ways that you guys have built out the ability to offer something like that. So maybe touch even just a little bit deeper on that if you can, on what exactly and the process of how you created that.
Yep. Yeah, it is exciting to wake up and have an app. And a lot of our, we share that excitement with merchants when they do publish for the first time. We are a software company, so we also sell to marketers. So like those are two fundamental pieces that really power our decisions as a company and as a software. We have a full drag and drop suite of tools that we work with marketers on that they can completely do in-house with their own staff. This is not something where you have to spend hours, weeks, months coding or even using our tool to input the designs that you need. This is something that you can get up and running in a matter of days or even hours if you have the right things in place. And we're going to continue to make that easier. But this is not something that you can simply launch and set it and forget it. Like you have to remember, this is a tool. It's a sales channel that can actually power anywhere from 20 to 50% of your entire revenue. And we're growing your CLV for your best customers. Like this is not something you just turn on and just let hang out on the App Store. It does take a little bit of effort, but we're also doing a lot on the software side to make that a lot easier. We have like AI tools now that can auto-generate and send push notifications on your behalf, and we're actually seeing a really positive experience there. We're coming up with new ways to empower marketers with templates and best practices and things that just make it a lot easier and less time constrained to get the best experience and to drive the most amount of revenue. So it is a constant journey, and the landscape is changing. 3 years ago, AI was something that you saw in movies, and like now it's actually something that we can pull into our product and create merchant value from. So like there's been a journey, and the experience keeps getting better and better and easier to maintain and manage.
That's solid.
Love it. I do have a story to kind of to follow up to this,
yes,
right?
Story time.
the idea of ease of use, drag and drop, like I said, I built our app. I have no development knowledge other than like small HTML changes, right? But if you look at our website, we have our gift bar, right? So you hit a certain threshold, you get a free shaker or whatever it is. You guys also have something similar that you've built out on the app for
a gift with purchase.
The gift with purchase, so consumers can kind of use that to obviously increase AOV and conversion rate. So this was our first Black Friday where we want to introduce that gift bar, right? So we have a developer, he's overseas. We're about to launch our Black Friday sale, 7 p.m. And we're getting down to the wire where app is already all done, right? It was just one of those things, like I set up the promo, I had the theme scheduled to launch at 7 p.m., right? All of our free gifts, everything, we're ready to go. Now that same experience on the website, Okay, you need a full-blown developer to recreate that entire thing on the cart. And 7 p.m. we launched. Okay, we were like, all right, this is about to be like an explosive hour of sales, this and that. And like 5 minutes in, I'm like, there's no orders coming in at all. And we went to the community, our Facebook community, and everyone's like, oh, the website's down, I can't check out, this and that. The cart's broken, or it's adding like 100 items to my cart, whatever it was. And so like frantically, we're like, all right, turn off the site, turn off the website. We got to call the developer. And he was in the UK, and this guy's like sleeping, right? Oh, and so we had to deal with that. And I think we were at the office till around 2 p.m., 10 p.m., right? And nobody was looking at sales at all, right? Because we assumed that we turned off the website, nothing happened. Everybody went to the app and started purchasing and enjoying the Black Friday sale. It was just up and running, no issues. Everybody was going back to the community saying like, guys, like the app's working, like go download the app. And people are like, where do I get the app? And it's like, go to the app store. And it was just like something that was just so simple to just have and set up like within a couple of hours versus something that required dev time, hours. Like obviously there's costs associated with that. For something to just break because of maybe one line of code, you don't have to worry about that with the drag and drop templates on Tapcart, and you just know it's gonna work.
So tons of features are often talked about when it comes to why an app is obviously useful. Besides knowing what it can do for your business, what are the actual fundamental things it helps when it comes to the consumer itself?
So in addition to giving value to the consumers, which is number one, what we want it to do, logistically, the app converts a lot better, right? There's one-click checkout. All of our, buy now, pay laters are compatible, integrate with them. Our subscription platform integrates with them. For loyalty, we use reviews.io, and everything is able to be managed from within the app. So like I said, it's one place to give value, but two, if you're making a purchase, it's the easiest place to do it.
If you want to get started today building an app, you can get up to 2 months free with Tapcart. Remember, they take care of the entire build out, so you don't have to. Get started today building an app for your brand. Now, let's get back to the episode.
Yeah, gift with purchase, you literally click a button, configure some things, and it's live. So you obviously crashed your site on purpose, right? That was
yes.
We actually recommend that. That's one of the number one tech.
You want to spike in downloads, crash the website.
And we'll have to put that in the case study. That's awesome. I love that story. We try to make it super seamless, and this is something that, again, like marketers, you guys want to express, be creative, and like just get shit done, and that's what our platform's all about. Sometimes Shopify and going into themes, like it can be sensitive. You gotta be an expert.
You miss a comma and the whole thing's fucked.
Semicolon even worse. You crash crash your site. So.
It's I think that story is a great segue into there's the common utility of the app, right? Which is like, hey, get your customers to shop here. And then you have your common statistics that you're gonna watch, and I think the app, prevails in all of them, whether it's AOV, RPS, for those who don't know that, revenue per session. But I think there's also just, and this will be a good segment of a story time for us too, but there's also really creative ways to use the app. And I think when people hear some of the ideas that you probably have seen from thousands of brands that you're working with, I think it starts to make people think like, oh, wait, that is really cool. It's almost like you can campaign with the app. I know for us, one of our most common ways to use it, which really couldn't do it any other way besides having another platform, which was, if you want something exclusively from our brand, you can only get it from the app. Now, why are we driving people on the app? There was clear statistics showing that people who get on the app have a higher AOV, higher retention rate, higher conversion rate, and higher revenue per session. Okay, so once there's clear stats proving better affinity of a consumer to the brand, you then say, well, then how do I drive more? And I think that's where it gets really fun. It's like, hey, let's get people to download this app, and it's the only way they can get this product, right? And I think it started becoming a game for us. Remember, it was like, let's get in the community. Let's try and see if we can get like 200 downloads in the next hour. Like it just started becoming one of those things. And, you know, when you have a community we have 70,000 people in our community and 400,000 customers, it's our objective is like, how do we get to 400,000 downloads, right? Like that's clearly the game you're constantly playing. But that's one really creative way that we love using it. But I think I'd love for you to, even just selfishly, I think we'd love to know, like, what are some other creative ways that you've seen brands utilize the app?
Yep. I love this. And I mean, look, since the iPhone first came out, I've had apps on my phone progressively since then. I think our customers are the most creative and the craziest when it comes to actually promoting their app and creating an experience. I've never seen things out in the world that our customers are doing as regularly as I do with the merchants that we work with. So like there's a lot out there. Driving app downloads, there's tons of different techniques, and the whole emphasis there is not to put a hurdle in place for your customers. You're getting them in a place where you know their revenue per session, like you said, is higher, their conversion's much higher, their CLV is actually going to lift, and so it makes sense to come up with new creative hustles to get them on the app platform. And so like we've seen customers go as far as like buy a Lamborghini and raffle them off for app downloads. And if you think about like, that's crazy.
Was that Mr.
But
Beast?
The cost of that is lower than retargeting your customers with ads. It's lower than sending SMS to email to a list of, you know, millions of customers attempting to get their downloads. So there's a lot that can be done with giveaways that we're actually seeing that can actually, it can seem like a high dollar value, but it's actually a lot less than other marketing techniques. And now you have that customer locked into the mobile app experience, and you're going to see the benefits financially from that with the conversion and what we've talked about earlier. We've also seen content be a massive push in the app, content and community, which are inherently tied together. I mean, you guys in the Obvi app, you have recipes, you have guides, with push notifications. You guys are sending motivational messages, not just promotional messages. So this whole idea of creating a content area in your app, in a community that you truly own, is a great investment and a great play, and your customers will love that as well, and it will start to pay off. So that's another technique, and we see a ton of creativity with that. And on the push notification side, like I just mentioned, getting beyond just sending promotional messages like twice per week is just huge, and we see so much creativity when it comes to that. Again, you guys send motivational messages, your customers love that. We have a cannabis brand that sends a push notification every day at 4:20, and like their customers get a kick out of that. Chubby's,
That's awesome.
Chubby's has like jokes that they send about short shorts, and like this is stuff that you can only get on the app. Like you're not going to get this through their email or their SMS or through their ads. Like you have to have the app to get that. And it's also really easy for brands to experiment because these are their best customers. There's a level of trust that has been built there, and the messaging is completely free and included in the cost of Tapcart's platform. So like there's not a cost to send 10 million push notification messages with something experimental, motivational, non-promotional. So it really opens up this new messaging platform for brands where they can be fun and they can be creative, and they don't have to make a ton of money and ROI from it. It can be a joke, it can be a reminder, it can be something interesting and content related to really start to build that community. So
I mean, that part is intangible, right? You're just continuously building the affinity for the brand, right? Where like, if you wanted to send out a motivational message on SMS, like you'd be out of your mind. Because it's like, if you're trying to send to your entire list, that's a costly
It's like getting a hospital bill after that. You're like, good luck with that.
And then like, and it's like with SMS too, right? You almost have to be promotional to make your money back. Like, we'll probably go as far as sending like recipes and things like that, so that at some point, hey, like, oh, they could use this flavor for this recipe, and maybe they'll buy. So there is some type of ROI, but we can't go and be like, hey, beautiful, like, good morning, make sure you get your 10,000 steps in. where we could do that on the app and we can send that every fucking hour if we wanted to.
Yeah. If you did that on SMS, that would be pretty baller. So, yeah, give it a try.
Yeah, we might get sued for that.
No, I love this like point on like just the cost savings part. I remember, I forget who I was talking to, but it was someone in one of our founder group chats, and I think I had said something along the lines of like, even if you don't like fully care to use the app for the app purposes of shopping and whatnot, but you're able to drive people to download. Okay, if you have the ability to download, right? Skip the utility piece even in your mind for 1 second. Just go to the part where you're the revenue driving piece. Okay, where if you're able to send something to a consumer for free, which is a push notification, right? That part is like so undervalued. And I'm just like, in my mind, I'm like, I would just, even if I didn't want an app for whatever weird reason, I would just to be able to access and unlock push is a reason to have an app. Like it's almost like it's like if you had to build an app to be able to send SMS to your customers, would you not do it? Right? And the answer is gonna be like, yeah, of course, I want to have SMS for my customers, but that's a paid channel, right? Why? Like it was like my argument was like, why wouldn't you want access to this channel, right? And so like if you can't for some reason get over the bridge of like, oh, here's all the reasons I would get the app, the access to a sales channel that is literally free, right? And direct to their mobile phone. That's the other part, right? I think that's the part that like boggles my mind, but also is not talked about enough. I'd love for if you can touch on from your angle, your perspective of like, I've not only given the power for merchants to be, build an app within 7 days, but also the ability to create an entirely new sales channel that's like literally has no cost. There's no cost prohibition there. And so like, how do you go about explaining that piece? Because I'm sure it's something that you're just like maybe hitting your head against the wall. Like, why wouldn't you do this? But would love to learn push versus email, SMS, and your thought on it.
It is mind-boggling because it's not just a sales channel; it's a marketing channel, right? Like it's a 2-for-1. So that is something that adds a lot of breadth to our platform and gives a lot of impact to merchants. If you just had push notifications, that is a massive benefit. Like our merchants rely on push notifications for a bulk of their messaging, and it's branded. So like this is something that is not a 10-digit number that's coming across and saying, hey, go check out this new recipe or go check out this new product. Like this is something that is tied to your brand. You've built that trust. They've opted in, and it's fully branded with your logo. And now to the sales channel part, you click on it, boom, you're in an app. It's fully native. 0 load time, extremely fast. Check out with Apple Pay, you're done in less than 10 seconds. So like it's got an end-to-end experience that no other marketing or messaging channel has. And like that is what all customers should expect. And it's certainly what your best customers expect. Yeah. And that's what push notifications and a sales channel actually deliver as a 2-for-1 solution. So like that is that's actually had a ton of power, and it's hard to explain because there's a lot going on there. It's not just a message, right. And it's not just a website. It's a mobile app.
Very true.
And the opt-out rates are a lot lower too. So like that's another thing. It's like
I don't even know how to opt out of push notification.
Good. Just keep it that way. And we see it's extremely low because it's just not intrusive. It's not personal either. And I actually think that's a big change is when I look at my email, even my work email, it's like a personal inbox. Like that, you're sending me an email there to talk to me or to schedule a meeting or to tell me something important or to update me on a sales process. Like whatever that is, like it's a personal inbox. My SMS, kind of the same way, is the way that I at least personally feel about it. And I think a lot of customers are thinking about it the same way. I talk to my friends, I talk to my family. Like that's what I view that as. Push notifications in a shopper's mind isn't that. It breaks through. It is a business to shopper channel that customers actually expect. So it's not hitting them by surprise with anything that they could receive as spam or non-authentic. Like they're just used to getting messaging from merchants through push. So like that's why we're seeing the opt-out rates are just so much lower, and it's just less intrusive is really the crux of it.
So one thing that is on everybody's minds, or at least should be, right, is Black Friday, Cyber Monday. I know it feels like it's months away, but it's almost September, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you are a marketer, what you're probably doing right now is building an audience, right? At least on Meta, you're kind of taking advantage of these cheap CPMs right now, and or at least when this comes out, back in August. You're taking advantage of these cheap CPMs. You're building an audience. You're building a list on SMS, email, so that when that day does come in November, you hit the ground running, right? Now, I think one thing that we've done and found successful is also building out the list for our app download, so that, again, when that day comes, push notification goes out, and that's just another touch point to get our consumers to buy from us versus the hundreds of deals that are going on at that time,
agreed.
Right? So for those who are listening and you are considering an app, I think now is the best time to start and get the demo and start building out. But the biggest things here is, how do you build the subscriber base, the downloads, right?
Yep.
I know you touched on it a little bit, but are there some key ways or strategies that merchants can kind of lean on to build up until we get to November? And what have you seen has been successful?
Yes. Yeah. So if you totally should have an app live for Black Friday, Cyber Monday. The competition is like palpable. People are going to have thousands of emails. Mm-hmm. They're going to see ads everywhere. They're going to see, the rush of SMS coming in. And you shouldn't be launching the app on Black Friday, Cyber Monday, because you got to get your best customers and you got to get your audience actually on there. So yeah, good points. I would almost say like September and October are, that's the cutoff. Like definitely go live in September, October, but no later than that. And you don't have to raffle off a Lamborghini to get downloads. There is a straightforward playbook that we recommend, and is fairly automated. I'll just run through it. So first thing we recommend is leveraging your existing audience, your existing customers with existing marketing channels. So put download links in your email footer. We have templates for that. Super simple. Essentially costs $0 to start incorporating a download our app for X benefits in an email. We recommend doing that like today if you launch with us. We have same thing on their website. You can put a variety of different links in your website. We also have 2 different products that are free and included in our stack. One is called Capture Kit, and it is a widget that you can automatically deploy to your website to incentivize an app download through a QR code. So it's actually a really natural play to get some of your better customers that are on your desktop website to pull out their phone, get the mobile app, and be prepared for receiving that discount when Black Friday comes. And then using your social channels. You mentioned earlier about like TikTok, Facebook, Instagram. Like these are great channels. Like there are audiences built on those channels that you guys have fostered and taken the time and the energy to actually build. Message out to them that you have a mobile app. You want to be able to pull those customers now onto your platform, your mobile app. So when Black Friday, Cyber Monday comes, you can message them directly, and you can be extremely cost effective and high intent with that audience and that customer base. So like pull those users from non-owned channels into an owned channel, which is your mobile app and your other marketing systems. So like there's a lot of straightforward playbooks. All those things I just mentioned cost absolutely nothing. It just takes a little bit of time, a little bit of effort, and Tapcart's here to help you. Hit me up directly. I'll add the email footer if you want. I've done it before. I know Klaviyo. I can put that in there.
There you go.
That's awesome.
So for Avi, right, our Facebook group is the nucleus of the brand, right? It's the first thing that we tell people, like, hey, we have a group on Facebook that has 70,000 plus members in there.
Wow.
Right. I've always thought about, where will our community move to if Facebook were to be gone tomorrow,
Yep.
right? Or if just people are just kind of over it or whatever it was. I don't want that channel to go away and I've lost this big chunk of audience. and I want it to be owned, right? And I would love for something to be where, all right, download the app, you're part of the community, right? I don't want to put them in a Slack channel. I don't want to put them in a Discord or whatever other communities are out there, right? I want to own it. How do you guys think about community? Because it means something different to everybody. But how do you guys feel about community, and how can brands kind of start creating one through Tapcart?
Yeah, community is really important. And you touched on the second most important, which is owning the community and controlling the community, and, you know, having a controlled experience in the community is even more important. That is terrifying that you have 70,000 people in Facebook. Like, I hope Zuckerberg wakes up on the right side of the bed tomorrow and everything's fine.
Facebook groups are deleted.
Yeah, exactly. They're gone. There's a lot of ways to leverage community within a mobile app. I mean, we've all seen it in just various apps we use every day, and you can actually bring some of the best parts of your community or build your own community within the mobile app. So we don't want to dictate like how you should be building a community. That's like a broad term. Communities and audiences could be just any group of people doing any number of things. So this is where we've seen our developer tools actually be used the most. So whether your community is like live events or live shopping, and you want to like embed that experience and make that app exclusive, and have messaging around that, like that is totally something that you can actually do using our developer tools. You can create your own like in-house forum. I'm trying to think of like what would be the antithesis of the Facebook group and moving those users over. You can create your own message boards, forums, community centers like directly within the application, and then start to actually drive that audience away from the Facebook group into your own channel. You can have like one-to-one push notifications. So if you wanted to like highly segment and do more of a community building push notification approach, you could totally do that. You could segment it in like Klaviyo and link that whole system up. So there's unlimited and super creative ways to start building your community, and actually doing that in an app that you control and you own and you can continue to develop and foster over time. A big approach for us in this last year has been around developer tooling, and we don't want to, we don't want marketers to have to code if they don't have to absolutely get there, but we also want marketers to be able to get to that next level and be able to differentiate, tell their brand story, and build their community. And we don't want to tell marketers how they should be doing that. Like, we have best practices, but we want marketers to be creative in their own right and tell their brand story. And the best way to do that is if you use our developer tools, create a unique experience that even Tapcart wouldn't have thought of, and get that into our platform, so you can foster that community. Get the hell off Facebook.
Yeah. Sometimes it's not about sales. It's not all about sales. It's sometimes just building a community and building an affinity for your brand.
Yep.
Which will translate to sales.
It's the highest, rung on the ladder when it comes to building an e-commerce brand, right? Like, Shopify made it easy to get the logistics and the payment processing, all of that stuff. Like, if you can build a brand and a community, those are the customers that are going to retain. Those are the customers that are going to continue to give you guys your best ideas on what to do next. And we highly recommend making the app a community place.
That was incredible. As a merchant, you work with a lot of different SaaS companies because you have a lot of different tools that are enabling us to obviously create more efficiencies in the way we work and bring more revenue and optimization, et cetera. So I think from a merchant angle, what's really cool is like there's also experiences we're having with using SaaS tools and the teams behind it, right? I think one really cool part about from day one when we've worked with Tapcart is the entire team is just so synced in, right? You're working with Neil or JJ or Riley or anyone across the team. Everyone just understands, gets what we're doing. And if for some reason they don't, they'll actually combat themselves to understand why they're not understanding what you're trying to say. Instead of just, hey, no, this is the way it should be. And when you even our conversation with Harley from Shopify, and how he talked about the Tapcart team and what you've built, Shopify being an investor in Tapcart. I mean, you see some of these like really, really great green flags, right? And it's like, you kind of have to take a step back and say, well, there's a founder that led this team to be the way it is, right? And I want to take a moment, because we've gone super dense on the product side, but I actually want to go on the team side for a second, because you're leading a team of 100 plus people remotely, with a mission to create a tool and service that is enabling us merchants to just be able to make more money. And I'd love to understand like a little bit of that team dynamic. How do you get all of your employees, one, have empathy towards these merchants, two, stay really synced in with the ecosystem, and then number three, leading it remotely? I'd love to get a little bit more color on just you being a founder that you are.
Yeah. I mean, thanks for that. And if you have any customer complaints, we'll talk after this as well. I would love to help you there. And so we are a software company. We are a product. We're not just a bunch of nerds working on software in the background. And I think like this is probably like the easiest part of building a great team that has empathy for the customers. And it's easy to do it in e-commerce. Like if we were selling IT software to the government, okay, that's a little bit harder. We're selling and enabling the best brands in the world to build better experiences and to create something that we can use ourselves and actually see out there in the world. So, we have this internal mantra about being our own customers. Like we're not going to build stuff that we don't want to use ourselves. And we want to work with merchants that we like their products and want to use ourselves as well. So, we even have a merchant stipend at Tapcart where you get $75 every single month on a little card, and you can buy whatever you want through any of our merchants' apps. And this is so easy because we love our customers' products, and we get to experience their community. We get to experience what they have to offer and how their product and their story and their brand has evolved. And that has just gotten us so much closer with our customers, but also it's showing us where the industry is moving, like what still needs to be fixed, like what's still breaking in the industry that we can help solve. And I want to say that's the easiest part of driving a team that is close with our customers and close to the problems that we're solving. We like shopping from our customers, and we encourage everyone to do that. And we also pull a lot of folks from the e-commerce industry and just other industries. Another reason LA is better than SF. Like we got aerospace, e-commerce, fashion. It's all here. So that's part of what we talk about a lot, and what we encourage is just shopping from our customers and getting close to that. So doing this remotely hasn't been easy. Obviously, we used to have a very tight team in LA in a Santa Monica office. Was I think 30, 40 of us packed in a building and having lots of water cooler talks and bringing customers in to talk to us. It was a little bit easier to run. Now that COVID has happened, now 3 years ago, we've grown from 30 to 40 people to now over 120. Wow. And I was going to say we're all over the America, but we're actually now we have international employees now, so it's even more difficult. There's more time zones to manage. So yeah, it's been tough. We all are international with our customer base, so I think that's another point that helps us kind of get across that point. Is we work remotely with our customers, regardless of whether we're in person or remote. So we're now using some of those skills to communicate with each other better. And I think there's still a long way to go, but we all have the same the same goal of making merchants more money and making mobile the best sales channel there is, and enjoying the experience of shopping with our merchants and sharing that culture internally. So it's been an experience.
I love it. I mean, the growth is insane.
Yeah, it's amazing, and I just love the culture piece that you explained. I mean, to almost make your team be immersive in what they're building, it's kind of rare. I mean, I to be honest, I almost want to steal that for our own employees. Like, hey, shop Obvi. They'd be so mad. Yeah, I know, they'd be pissed. But I feel get into it. You need to be in part of, you need to consume the product. You need to be in what you're building, because you kind of feel it differently.
I love it because there's just no fucking excuse of why you can't do that.
Yeah.
Like I get other industries like
Yeah.
Avi, I can't eat Avi every meal of
Yeah.
the day and
Yeah.
survive. But there's just no excuse of why you can't buy things from our customers and not get everything you need on Amazon, because that's just not the way to do things. So it's like I said, easy and fun.
So we touched on a little bit about when us as at Obvi kind of onboarded with Tapcart being, you know, much more on the smaller side, and you guys creating almost no barrier to entry, which allowed us to be allow us to feel the accessibility of what Tapcart does. But like, I think sometimes people also don't realize the other spectrum of this, which is you're serving 9-figure, billion-dollar brands as well, on almost in the same breath, right? And to touch a little bit more on that, which is you've created a suite of tools to be able to enable that, which is a 9-figure brand like True Classic, or many of the other brands who are doing maybe billions of dollars of sales. What are some of the tools you created to make sure that you're not just here creating no barrier to entry, but also creating some custom elements for some of the larger brands?
Yeah, it is a good question. We have such a wide range of merchants that we serve, and you know, the core of our experience, we want it to be easy to maintain, and we want it to be drag and drop, and a lot of that experience is, you know, super easy to use. But you know, these brands that are $100 million in revenue, $1 billion in revenue, they've spent years building out their site. They've spent years building out custom experiences on Shopify or through their other channels, and they want to be able to leverage Tapcart to have either similar experiences or its own custom experience. So it's been a major challenge for us in the last 5 years accommodating for that, and we now have developer tools that can allow some of these larger brands to either bring over portions of their website directly into their app and be able to do that successfully and feel like a fully native experience. So we have a product called WebBridge SDK that like literally just creates a beautiful magical bridge between parts of their website and ports it in dynamically and still has all the native app actions. We have tools where they can code HTML and JavaScript and CSS to build completely new and custom experiences directly in our platform. So like this is not new for a lot of these larger brands. Like these are tools that they've already worked with. Everybody knows HTML, JavaScript, and CSS. You even said you kind of went in and have done some things on your own, and so we're trying to find like familiar tools to get the most robust app experiences. And not raise the barrier to entry too high, but also to be able to cater towards brands that are $1 billion plus in revenue. And we've actually done that successfully. First party data is another huge area that brands have access to when they launch a mobile app. We have insights. We have what we call like an analytics insights pipeline that processes about 1 billion events per week for merchants. And now we're also opening up tools where they can take that data and put that in their own data warehouse and be able to link that with other sources to make their segments stronger, to create their own custom segments, to be able to feed that data into their ad platform and actually get better ROAS. So these are all things that we typically see from larger merchants, and Tapcart is on the cutting edge when it comes to being able to support some of like the crazy hard things and custom things that merchants have. So it's definitely something that we continue to evolve and love, while also not trying to make the barrier too high.
I think what's been really interesting is even for us, hopefully by the time this episode comes out, we would have already launched our app. For Chew on This.
Yes.
So we have our merch.
Love it.
But we wanted to also create an experience that also cultivates our community too, right? So not just coming in and shopping for dope swag, but like being able to watch the podcast, listen to it, some of our articles that we put out in our newsletter, the resources that we provide, brand owners. And it's not just like, all right, here's a link to a PDF and it just opens up, right? It's more of like an experience. And lucky enough for us, we're at that phase in the business where we do have the resources. We do have a dev team that can kind of go in and utilize those tools. So when the app drops, definitely go and download it because it's something that I think will just be a tool for every marketer.
Love that.
Tapcart's to thank for that.
Super excited to get that up and running, and I will definitely be buying 100 more of these so I can
I heard you
wear
want
it
the
every
brand
day.
builder one.
I do like the brand builder one, so that is cool. I want the whole collection basically. And yeah, please make like a founder AMA in the app. Like we can help you put that together. That would be
awesome.
pretty
Really
cool.
cool.
Yeah,
That'd be
exactly. Get a
I
push
would love
notification every day.
Yep.
We have a new founder that you can ask anything, and there's like custom responses. So anyways,
Love that.
we,
That will be on the app.
our juices are already flowing. And yes, like let's build a community. I think it makes perfect sense. And
Yeah. So at the end of every episode, I know usually we have guests that just come in and spit all the fire that they possibly can, and it's very difficult to just kind of take away just one thing, right? But what we like is, to have one chew that the audience can kind of take away from this episode with. What is that one thing that you want everybody to know and just take away from this?
So I'll try to summarize this because you did say one thing. I have like 5, but
They always do.
As long as it's in one breath.
Let's compress this. So look, as merchants these days, we know the economy and the environment's tough. Like budgets are getting tighter. It's harder to spend your money on ads and get a good return. Unit economics is more important than it's ever been for a lot of merchants out there. And everything that we just discussed on this podcast has come down to a pretty simple concept where if you're $1 million in revenue or more, or even $1 billion, like that range, and you don't have a mobile app, like we just talked about all the reasons why that's absolutely insane, and you're just leaving tons of money on the table. And that's what we want people to chew on.
Chew on that.
Chew on that. If you want more from us, follow us on Twitter, follow us on Instagram, follow us on TikTok, and check out the website chewonthis.io.